Hello everyone, thanks for checking out the channel. If you like this video, please remember to like, and if you subscribe, be sure to comment below. I reply to every comment. Case File 237. Wendigo. I sat alone in my dimly lit study, surrounded by shelves of dusty old tomes and curiosities. The ancient case file before me bore the number 237. And its contents held the chilling account of a creature that had haunted the woods for generations, the Wendigo. My fingers traced the words on the pages as I delved into the gruesome details of its attacks. The Wendigo, a malevolent spirit or entity from Algonquian folklore, was said to possess those who had resorted to cannibalism or greed. As I read through the case file, I couldn't help but shiver at the vivid descriptions of its appearances. Tall and emaciated, with mottled gray skin stretched over a skeletal frame, its eyes glowed with an otherworldly hunger. The file contained eyewitness accounts of chilling encounters, each painting a portrait of terror. The first attack, recorded decades ago, spoke of a group of fur trappers who had ventured deep into the wilderness. Only one had returned, his eyes haunted as he described the sound of bone-chilling whispers that had echoed through the forest. A trail of dismembered bodies marked the Wendigo's path. Subsequent entries detailed the creature's penchant for preying on lone travelers and small communities. In one instance, an entire village had fallen victim to the Wendigo's insatiable hunger. Its eerie call, a blend of mournful wails and sinister laughter, had echoed through the night as it feasted upon the unsuspecting inhabitants. The Wendigo's attacks were relentless and varied. Some victims had been torn apart limb by limb, their remains scattered across the landscape. Others had been snatched from their beds, leaving only traces of blood-soaked sheets as evidence of their fate. The creature's ability to mimic human voices had lured many to their doom as they followed what they believed to be the cries of a loved one. As I pored over the case file, I felt a mixture of fascination and dread. The Wendigo was no ordinary predator. It was a force of malevolence, driven by an insatiable hunger that could never be satisfied. My heart raced as I imagined the countless lives it had claimed over the years. Closing the case file, I took a deep breath and glanced out the window. The moon cast an eerie glow over the trees, and the wind rustled through the leaves. It was time to confront the Wendigo, to put an end to its reign of terror once and for all. With a determined resolve, I rose from my chair and made my way to the door. The cold night air hit me as I stepped outside, and I could feel the weight of the case file in my pocket. I headed toward my truck, parked at the edge of the clearing, its engine rumbling to life as I turned the key. As I drove deeper into the forest, the shadows grew thicker, and the silence seemed to press in around me. The road was rough, but my determination pushed me forward. I had spent years studying and preparing for this moment, gathering knowledge and weapons to face the supernatural. My grip tightened on the steering wheel as I reached a clearing. The moonlight bathed the area in an eerie glow, casting long shadows that danced on the ground. I killed the engine and stepped out of the truck, the crunch of leaves underfoot the only sound in the stillness. I stood there for a moment, the weight of the case file a reminder of the lives that had been lost. The Wendigo's reign of terror had to end, and I was the only one with the knowledge and determination to do it. With every step I took, the whispers of its victims seemed to grow louder, urging me forward. As I ventured deeper into the forest, my senses heightened. I could feel the Wendigo's presence in the air, its malevolence like a tangible force. My heart raced, but I pushed the fear aside. I had faced countless supernatural entities before, and this would be no different. And so, with my research done, it's time to get out of this truck and begin the hunt. I'll update when I get back home. Update. The moon hung high in the night sky, its silvery glow filtering through the dense canopy of the forest. Each step I took was calculated, my senses on high alert as I followed the trail that had led me deeper into the heart of the wilderness. The case file pressed against my side, a tangible reminder of the horrors I had read about and the responsibility that rested upon my shoulders. The air was thick with tension as I moved forward, the sounds of rustling leaves and distant cries of nocturnal creatures creating an eerie symphony around me. I couldn't shake the feeling that the very trees were watching, their ancient branches holding secrets that whispered through the night breeze. I tightened my grip on the bag at my side, the reassuring weight of the vials containing the silver-tipped bullets within my reach. Hours seemed to stretch on as I followed the trail, the moonlight guiding my way through the twisting labyrinth of the forest. The sense of foreboding grew with every step, and a knot of unease settled in the pit of my stomach. The Wendigo was a force of malevolence that had terrorized these woods for generations, and I was determined to put an end to its reign of darkness. Finally, the trail led me to a clearing, bathed in the ethereal glow of the moon. The ground bore deep imprints, a testament to the Wendigo's powerful presence. As I surveyed the area, my heart raced as I caught a glimpse of movement at the edge of the clearing. There it stood, a grotesque figure that seemed to blend seamlessly with the shadows, its eyes glowing with a hunger that sent a shiver down my spine. Its emaciated form exuded a malevolent energy, and I tightened my grip on the bag, my fingers brushing against the cold metal of the vials. I knew that silver-tipped bullets were the only way to defeat it, but the fight ahead was far from certain. The Wendigo's mournful wail pierced the air, a haunting sound that seemed to carry with it an unnatural power. My heart raced as I faced the creature, my determination undeterred by the fear that clawed at the edges of my mind. I reached into the bag, my fingers closing around one of the vials containing the silver-tipped bullets, the metal cool against my skin. As I began to chant ancient words, the incantation resonated through the clearing, infusing the air with an otherworldly energy. The Wendigo's eyes narrowed, its form wavering as it struggled against the power of the words and the protection offered by the silver. The magic flowed through me, and I held the vial aloft, the silvery contents catching the moonlight. But the Wendigo was not so easily defeated. With a deafening roar, it charged forward, its movements unnatural and swift. I raised the vial to protect myself, but the creature's claws sliced through the air, grazing my arm. Pain radiated through me, but I forced the discomfort aside, my focus unwavering. I fired the first shot, the silver-tipped bullet striking the Wendigo's chest. It let out a bone-chilling scream, its form writhing in agony as the silver's magic seared through its malevolent essence. I loaded another bullet, my hand steady despite the pain in my arm. The forest seemed to hold its breath as I took aim once more, my fingers squeezing the trigger. The second shot hit its mark, and the Wendigo's roar turned into a desperate cry. Its form began to dissolve, its wails growing more frenzied as it fought against the power of the silver. But this time, the battle was in my favor, and the creature's essence seemed to weaken with every passing moment. With a final, echoing cry, the Wendigo disintegrated into a cloud of mist that was carried away by the wind. The clearing fell silent. The weight of its malevolence lifted. I stood there, chest heaving, my arm throbbing with pain. The forest seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. The darkness that had plagued it, now vanquished. With a sense of accomplishment, I turned away from the clearing, my breath shaky as I retraced my steps back to the truck. The moonlight guided my way, and I couldn't help but feel a mix of emotions as I reflected on the battle that had taken place. The case file, once a source of dread, was now a testament to my triumph over the darkness. As I reached the edge of the forest and approached my truck, I knew that the journey was far from over. I reached into the bag and withdrew a sharp blade, its edges glinting in the moonlight. With a steady hand, I approached the clearing once more and knelt beside the remains of the Wendigo. Carefully, I cut into its chest, my breath catching as I revealed the darkened heart within. It pulsed with an otherworldly energy, and I knew that it was a source of the Wendigo's power. With a determined resolve, I removed the heart, the act accompanied by a ghostly whisper that seemed to carry on the wind. I gathered dry leaves and twigs, arranging them into a makeshift pyre. Placing the heart atop the kindling, I ignited the fire, watching as the heart burned with an eerie light. The flames crackled and danced, consuming the malevolent essence that had plagued the forest for generations. And as the last embers faded into the night, I couldn't help but feel a sense of closure. The Wendigo had been defeated, its darkness extinguished by the power of silver and the determination of one who dared to confront the unknown. With my research done, it was time to get out of the truck and head home, to share my tale with the world, and ensure that the memory of the Wendigo would not be forgotten.